Welcome to JM Academy. This class I am going to explain ionic bonding and lattice energy. In the previous session, we did see about the covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are formed between non-metal and non-metal. But the ionic bonds are formed between metals and non-metals. Between metal and metal, metallic bondings are formed. So this presentation, I am going to explain about the ionic bonds. Ionic bonding actually is formed between, actually is a transfer of electrons. Ionic bonding results from the transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal with the formation of cations. It's a positively charged ions and anions and negatively charged ions. So it's a transfer of electrons. The electron is transferred from one species to another species to make the ionic bond. Actually, this is a simple electrostatic attraction of the opposite charges forms ionic bond. The metal loses electrons to form a cation and the non-metal becomes an anion by gaining electrons. The best example is the sodium chloride. How the sodium chloride is formed by this ionic bonding, that we have to see now. Sodium chloride is the best example for ionic bonding. Actually, sodium, the atomic number 11, and chlorine with the atomic number 17. For the sodium, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. For chlorine 17, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So actually, if you consider the sodium is only one electron in the 3s orbital, whereas chlorine has 5 electrons in the p orbitals. So to get one electron from sodium to complete the octet for chlorine is a very easy process. So that's why the electron is transferred from sodium to the chlorine. So now the chlorine becomes it completes its octet state, whereas sodium itself becomes an octet state. So this is a transfer of electron because of the electrostatic attraction between the sodium and the chlorine. The sodium is an electropositive character and the chlorine is an electronegative character. So because of these attractions, the sodium loses one electron and the chlorine gains one electron. So now this process, the sodium chloride is formed. Now we see how the magnesium chloride MgCl2 is formed. The magnesium with the 2 valence electrons reacts with 2 chlorine atoms. Actually, each one needs one additional electron. Then magnesium will donate 1 valence electron to each of 2 chlorine atoms, forming the ionic compound MgCl2, magnesium chloride. So the one magnesium with the 2 chlorine, they transfer electron from 2 electrons from magnesium to 2 chlorine atoms. So now the magnesium chloride is formed. The next one is aluminum oxide. How the aluminum oxide is formed? Actually, you see the aluminum has 3 valence electrons and oxygen needs 2 additional electrons to complete its octet. So now the common factor is between aluminum and oxygen is 3 and 2 must be 6. Now aluminum atoms would each lose 3 electrons. That is 2 aluminum atoms each lose 3 electrons, totally 6 electrons lost. 3 oxygen atoms each gains 2 electrons, so total 6 electrons gained. So now the total number of electrons lost must be equal to the total number of electrons gained. So the actually is the Al2O3, the aluminum oxide is formed. Now we see how do you derive the formula of the ionic compound. So the ionic compound, how the formula is derived, we have to see now. Actually, one rule is there that is known as a crisscross rule. According to this rule, how to derive a formula for a ionic compound. In this method, the cation and anion are written side by side. The numerical value of the superscript, that is a charge carried by the cation and anions without sign, that becomes a subscript on the non-metal in the compound, and the superscript charge on the anion becomes a subscript on the metal in the compound. For example, you see the aluminum oxide, the aluminum 3 plus, the charge carried by aluminum is 3 plus and the charge carried by oxygen is 2 minus. That gives, according to the crisscross rule, the 3 comes to the subscript of oxygen and 2 comes to the subscript of aluminum. So it gives Al2O3. The same way sodium oxide, sodium 1 plus charge and oxygen 2 minus charge gives Na2O. But if there is no charge difference, then there is no need for the subscript. For example, the magnesium oxide, Mg, magnesium carrying 2 plus charge and oxygen carrying 2 minus charge, both are the same charge. So the charge difference is 0. That's why there is no need for the subscript. So now we have to write the formula as MgO, magnesium oxide. Now we see the properties of ionic compounds. Actually, the ionic compounds are crystalline at room temperatures and have higher melting points, boiling points, and compared to the covalent bonds. They conduct electricity. The conductivity is exists when they are molten in state, but in the solid state they will not conduct electricity. But they are polar in nature, highly polar in nature. They are dissociated into ions. And you see the sodium chloride is ionic compound which is hard in nature and rigid, doesn't bend and brittle. Because this attractive force in ionic compounds hold the ions in specific positions. So moving the ions out of position requires overcoming these forces. So the sample resists denting and bending. Ionic compounds have very high melting points. For example, the sodium chloride melts at only at 801 degrees centigrade, whereas magnesium oxide melts at 2852 degrees centigrade and extremely high boiling points because it takes a lot of heat energy to overcome the electrostatic interactions between the cations and the anions. Now we see what is crystal lattice. Actually, the crystal lattice are formed by the cation and the anion. Actually, you see the cation and the anion are oppositely charged. They have the electrostatic attraction between them. So, when the positively charged ion is there, it attracts the negative ions. So, the positive ions are surrounded by negative ions. In the same way, negative ions attracts the positive ions. So, the negative ions also surrounded by the positive ions. So, now what will happen? These cations and anions arrange systematically in an alternating cation-anion pattern. So, this type of arrangement is called the crystal lattice. Now, what is meant by lattice energy? So, we can define lattice energy in two ways. The first one, the lattice energy is the minimum energy required to completely separate the ions to gaseous form in an ionic solid, or the amount of energy released when isolated ions form a crystal. So, the first one is a dissociation, second one is a formation. So, the both way the energy required is known as a lattice energy. The value of lattice energy depends on the charges present on the two ions. What are the charges, the number of charges carried by the positive ions and the negative ions, and the distance between the cation and the anion. So, it shall be high if charges are high and ionic radii are small. So, we have to see some trends on the lattice energy. The next slide. Now we see the lattice energy are not same for all compounds because the lattice energy varies with different ionic compounds. So, what are the factors that influence the lattice energy? Now, you see the ions with the smallest radii and the largest charge will have the largest lattice energy. Why? Because ions with the smaller radii will be very closer to the ions. They are attracting and will thus exert a greater force on them. So, the lattice energies are higher. So, because we need more energy to separate them. But as the size of the ions increases, the inner atomic distance becomes larger. And to separate the ions is somewhat very easier. So, that is why the lattice energy decreases. Larger charges create a greater force of attraction. For smaller ions, the force of the electric field produced by the charged particle is inversely related to the square of the distance from that particle. Now, you see, for example, as the magnitude of the cation and the anion charge increases, the lattice energy also increases. For example, sodium fluoride, because the sodium and fluorine ion both have only positive, only 1 plus charges, plus 1 and minus 1 charges. So, it is only the minus 1050, so that is 1050 kilojoule per mole. For calcium oxide, it is minus 3414 kilojoule per mole because sodium fluoride is a univalent charges, whereas calcium oxide is a bivalent charges. So, that is why because of the increase in the charges, there is a increase in the lattice energy also. In this slide, we see some univalent ionic compounds like lithium chloride, sodium chloride, potassium chloride and cesium chloride. Here the anions are same, the chloride ion, whereas the cations are different. There is a lithium, sodium, potassium and cesium. Now we go from lithium to cesium, the ionic size is increasing. So, because of this increase in the ionic size, the lattice energy is decreasing. Now, you see for lithium chloride, it is only the minus 834. For cesium chloride, it is a minus 657 kilojoule per mole. So, if you see if you compare the univalent ions with the bivalent ions, that is a univalent ionic compound with the bivalent ionic compounds like sodium fluoride and calcium oxide. So because of this bivalent, the charge is more when compared with the univalent ions. Now the lattice energy is also being increased here. For example, the sodium fluoride is only minus 910, whereas for calcium oxide is a minus 3414 kilojoule per mole. So this is the trend of the lattice energy. In this slide, we see how to determine the lattice energy. So now the lattice energy can be determined by using Born-Landay equations. The Born-Landay equation is given, the expression is given as E lattice as in this slide. Actually, this N is Avogadro number, E is a charge on the electron, and epsilon naught is the permittivity of the vacuum, or naught is the internuclear distance between the ions. A is a Medlung constant, N is a Born exponent, and Z plus, Z minus are charge on cation and anion respectively. Now we see one example. Calculate the lattice energy of sodium fluoride using Born-Landay equation. The data given, or the Born exponent for sodium fluoride is 7, and internuclear distance between ions is equal to 2.31 into 10 power minus 10 meter. So now you substitute other values like Avogadro number and the charges and electronic charge, everything you have to substitute here, and the final value for this sodium fluoride is minus 901 kilojoule per mole. So this is the final value given in kilojoule per mole. So by using this Born-Landay equation, we can calculate the lattice energy. So that's all about this ionic bonding and lattice energy. Hope this presentation is very useful for chemistry learners. So I request you subscribe my channel and share with your friends, and we will see in the next video for another presentation. Thank you for watching.